let's put out the focus as far as NCERT, which has now decided to update its social science textbooks of class 8, and it has now triggered a massive political storm. Now, the revised syllabus points the acts of brutality committed by Mughal rulers in India. The book that introduces students to the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal rule, and the chronicles of the life and times of some of the Mughal rulers as well. The class 8 textbook that has described Babar as brutal and ruthless conqueror who slaughtered entire population of cities, and Akbar's reign that has been termed as a blend of brutality and tolerance, and also mentions how he ordered the massacre over 30,000 people and destroyed temples. Aurangzeb, another Mughal ruler who has been referred to as someone who destroyed temples and gurudwaras. Now, NCERT, which has also added a disclaimer stressing that no one today should be blamed for past events. However, saying that when it comes to the Congress and the opposition allies are calling this as a BJP-RSS cheap attempt to rewrite history. BJP has hit back saying that the opposition bloc, saying that students are now being merely informed about what actually happened during the Mughal regime, and they were taught as far as when it comes to the wrongs that has now been committed by the Mughal regime, where in an attempt to teach them right is now being done.
ये तो उनका एजेंडा है और वो इतिहास बदलना चाहते हैं, इसको ये देश स्वीकार नहीं करेगा।
500 साल के पहले ये मुसलमानों ने क्या किया, यानी औरंगजेब ने क्या किया, वो आज क्या बोलने की बात है। यहाँ अभी लोगों को भड़काने का काम करना और बच्चों के ऊपर ये करना, गैर बातें उनके दिमाग में डालना, ये अल्टीमेटली इस देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं।
हम आरएसएस बीजेपी के लोगों से कहना चाहते हैं कि आप किताबें बदल सकते हो, इतिहास नहीं बदल सकते।
ये पूरा का पूरा जो निसाब है, ये एक खास मखसूस नजरिए के तहत किया गया है, और वो नजरिया जो है भगवाधारी नजरिया है। नए सिरे से नया इतिहास रचना ये ठीक बात नहीं है, और ये अन्याय है इतिहास के साथ।
Now, with some reactions coming in from the opposition sides, let's just deep dive as far as when it comes to what the NCERT textbooks have now added as part of their revised syllabus, and why that seems to have ruffled a few feathers in the opposition as well. Let's quickly describe as far as what has been said now in the new textbook revision that now has ordered as far as when it comes to Akbar the Great. So no longer Akbar the Great, but Akbar the Massacre, who one ordered as far as when it comes to killing of over 30,000 civilians with bloodthirsty swords, erased kafirs and destroyed temples all over Hindustan till the time his regime settled. Now, on the NCERT book on Akbar's attack, there has been also a chapter which also talks about the Chittorgarh fort. Now, let's talk about as far as different attribution is concerned, because now being said mainly when it comes to Akbar's regime, or as Emperor Akbar regime, there has been prosecuted men in conformity with faith, and Akbar's biographer Abu Fasl that has now been quoted. Let's in fact also take a look as far as when it comes to the textbook that has also revised description of the Jizya tax by the Mughal rulers on their non-Muslim citizens during their rule. As far as the opposition, which has been calling it as whitewashing, but can they really deny when it comes to the imposition of tax, the Jizya tax on non-Muslims for protection? Now they has been saying that it has caused public humiliation and it was incentive for the people to convert to Islam. This is part of page number 28 of the NCERT textbook. Now, citing these changes, the BJP has now hit back at the opposition, saying that there is not an attempt to rewrite history. It is only meant to correct the historical wrongs.
If we are telling the truth to our future generation, they should know about the history of this country, that how this country has been tortured at the hands of Mughals, what kind of atrocities were done, how forced conversions were done, how Islamic raiders, and Mughal being Islamic raider, raided this country and looted the wealth, how Britishers did that. What's the harm if we are telling the truth? The question is why it was not told for the last 70 years. This is the question.
Right. Isha, good morning. Mainly what is now being cited as far as these textbooks are also concerned with the revision of the syllabus with regards to class 8 social science textbook. It seems to be pointing out that many instances there has been of religious intolerance during the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal period.
Right, Amita. However, the barbarities of the Mughals is not new. It's not something that we have not heard of before. So when the Congress and the Samajwadi Party raised questions about the fact that the BJP is trying to rewrite history, the question that comes to the fore is that this is something that happened. This is something that has widely been published. So if it's coming out now, if people want to talk about it right now, and if the NCERT is making efforts for children in elementary schools to understand the history, there isn't much of a problem here, which it seems like. So their allegations are not standing here. They're not standing on their ground. However, like Ajay Alok of the BJP also stated, that this is just history. There is absolutely nothing wrong with showcasing history. However, if we talk technical terms, Amita, the NCERT has followed the new national education policy. Nothing has been done which is illegal, which is outside of the book. And it's also important to note that the NCERT put out a note stating nobody in present time should be blamed for it. And
absolutely, and that has been, as far as this disclaimer that seems to have been added and included on those revisions of the syllabus that is taking place, saying that the note on some darker periods in history and that no one should be held responsible today for the events that happened in the past. Isha, for the moment, thank you very much for joining in. With that, we head into a short break.